Folks lose their minds on horror media based on true stories. If there's some element of it that references a real event, regardless of whether said event was a hoax or something similar, it's time to bust out these super scary goggles. Hold on, new invention idea. Super scary goggles. Write that down. People will write articles and blog posts and entire Netflix documentaries if somebody claims they saw a real demon. So today we're going to list some of the best and brightest in this spooky, scary category. Fair warning, most of these are pulling from movies and TV. So let's get right into it. The top 5 scary demons that are real. Coming in at number 5, we've got Doris's Demon. Damn, Doris, where'd you get this demon? There are all sorts of different accounts as to how this possession went down, but if you take Doris and her children at their word, it's hard to ignore what happened. Back in the early 1970s, the home of Doris Beleth came under attack by a plethora of ghosts and demons. This seemingly average house in Culver County, California suddenly teemed with paranormal events, many of which traumatized poor Doris. A single mother taking care of 4 kids, Doris was having a good deal of trouble on her own. Add in a history of abusive and violent relationships between Doris, her parents, and partners, and you can see how life might have been tough. Doris claimed that she was being assaulted by the ghosts in her house, and this was corroborated by one of her children. They could remember hearing their mother being attacked and violated by these spirits and didn't know what to do about it. The kids also remember being attacked by invisible presences, scratching, pulling, biting, and slapping. Skeptics looking into the case point to her history of abuse and alcoholism as major factors in these events, saying she likely wasn't being attacked by ghosts, but instead in some sort of terrible fugue state. But when a team of paranormal investigators came in, they found some strange and compelling evidence. Unexplainable bruising all over Doris's body, ghost orbs throughout the house, and other possibly paranormal activity made it seem as though there could be real demons hanging around. However, Doris and her family did eventually leave, apparently taking these demons with them. Subsequent residents in the house did not report any such activity, and Doris claimed that these presences actually followed her after she left. All of these events were drawn upon by author Frank de Folita, who wrote a book called The Entity, and this tome would later be used as the basis for a feature film of the same name. Now, get this. During the filming of the movie, a young actor fell and broke his arm. He was playing the part of one of Doris's sons who had broken his arm in a similar manner while living at the house. They claimed they were thrown by some unseen entity, so maybe there's a connection here after all. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Changeling. There are many tales of demons and monsters throughout history. Folklore from all over features different entities meant to scare any who come across them. One particularly prevalent figure in such tales is that of the Changeling, an inhuman presence used to replace a human child. It's a very scary notion, don't you think? Your kid, who you're watching grow and change and become a fully developed person, gets replaced by something almost impossible to detect. What can you do at that point? This idea is explored in a bunch of different ways, from old fairy tales to particularly recent movies like The Hole in the Ground. But if we look back to the 80s, there's another tale of changelings that seems to be based on true events. A movie, The Changeling, was released and claimed to have been based on true events. Martin Scorsese lauded it as one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Russell Hunter, playwright and musician, had been living in the Henry Treat Rogers mansion in Denver, Colorado. While here, he discovered an abundance of creepy details. The cheap rent and exquisite architecture came at a cost, of course. During his stay, Hunter experienced plenty of paranormal happenings, from noises without obvious origin to poltergeist activity to, most interestingly, a secret room. Apparently, in this hidden chamber, Hunter found a diary penned by a young boy who was trapped there for an extended period of time. Through reading the diary and following some of the clues left behind, he ended up finding the remains of said young boy, who had seemingly been locked away by his parents. Tragic and terrifying for sure. Hunter then sought out a medium who came and investigated the mansion. Through this investigation, it was discovered that the spirit of the boy had remained in the house for almost a century and was behind much of the paranormal activity. Later, while the mansion was being bulldozed to make way for a high-rise, a bulldozer operator was killed in a freak accident. Could that have something to do with the mansion's history? Was the boy replaced by his family, doomed to rot within the walls of the mansion? Or was there a more supernatural replacement going on? Of course, the movie dramatizes a good deal of what happened, but the fact that it was based on the experiences of Hunter while he stayed at the mansion so rich in history is cause enough to be intrigued. He says that the hauntings did actually follow him even after the mansion was demolished. Coming in at number 3, we've got the Dybbuk. Recently, there's been a surprising amount of talk about Dybbuk boxes. For an ancient, cursed object, there sure is a lot of interest in 2021. A lot of this has to do with people supposedly purchasing mystery boxes off the dark web and then opening them on camera as a sort of spectacle. Of course, this has played up a fair bit to encourage plenty of views, so one can assume anything they're watching on the so-called dark web on YouTube is probably fake. But a recurring theme inside of these large mysterious crates is Dybbuk boxes, ancient wine boxes meant to seal away vicious and evil spirits. Of course, the best way to deal with something like that is just leave it well alone. Don't break the wax seal, but that's not gonna consistently happen now, is it? They open the box in 2012's Raimi produced The Possession and come face to face with a malevolent spirit that wants to possess a child. Once that thing is open, there is no going back. Apparently, after they wrapped shooting, a mysterious fire broke out in the prop warehouse, burning everything to the ground. Sheesh. You can also look to Post Malone's recent experience with a Dybbuk box at Zach Bagans' Paranormal Museum, where he claims he's been haunted ever since. With all the attention this demonic item has been getting recently, one has to wonder about the veracity of it all, but maybe don't try to find out for yourself. Coming to, we've got Beleth, the King of Cats. What a fantastic title for a demon to have, right? Folks who like to stay right up to date on horror programming might recognize that name. Recently featured in Netflix's Marianne, Beleth could be a lot of things. If we look to compendiums of demonology, Beleth is known as a fallen angel, one who leads 85 legions of demons and is a mighty and terrible king. When summoned, he's very angry, and if you show any fear, he'll never respect you again. The actual King of Cats bit doesn't seem to be mentioned anywhere outside of the Netflix series, but if we take these traits as true, he does seem very cat-like. Side note, a bottle of wine might mellow him into compliance, which is nice to know. But yeah, Beleth is supposedly a summonable demon and one who could work with you if you play your cards right. But like with any demon, you've got to be careful, lest you give up your soul to this otherworldly entity. And coming in at number 1, we've got a haunted doll. And this time, it's not Annabelle. I just figure we've got a very complete knowledge of that tale from the Warren archives. This haunted doll made waves back in 2013 as it flew in the face of the idea that haunted dolls are ancient and made of cracked porcelain. Yep, this haunted doll was made in the image of the one and only Ice Queen, Elsa. A family decided it was time to get rid of the doll and tossed it. However, soon after, it reappeared within their home. It was programmed to sing bits of the song Let It Go, but eventually it stopped doing so and would only speak in Spanish. Understandably freaked out, the family once again attempted to rid themselves of the toy, but it came back again, this time appearing in the backyard. It's a determined little bugger, eh? These days, it's strapped to the front of a friend's truck and it hasn't found a way to escape yet. But we'll see how this demonic doll develops over time. Now that you're aware of these real demons, are you going to be living your life more carefully? Or does the presence of paranormal power encourage you to throw caution to the wind? Either way, it's always fun to learn more about this kind of thing. So, what'd you think of the list? Do you agree with my picks? What is the scariest, realest demon out there? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more livid ones from the top 5 anime horror movies that deserve your attention. RK7 says, I grew up watching animes. There are a lot of anime horror that deserves our attention. Part 2. Make sure you check out some of our older videos on the topic, lots to choose from there. Victor Valdez says, when you said none other than Dwayne, I was half expecting the rest of the sentence to be The Rock Johnson. That would be a weird addition to his resume. If only that were the case. Wouldn't that make for a fun piece of trivia? Lynn Durbin says, I never really liked anime, but I might have to watch some of these and try anime again. Thanks for the suggestions. Try something new, you never know what you might like. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm gonna chuck some boomerangs and quickly lose focus. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Skeptics looking into the case point to her history. Skeptics. The King of Cats. What a fantastic, ooh. Folks who like to stay up late, nope. Folks who like to stay,